Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Hardcore Italians podcast. Today we're joined by an incredible actor and comedian, best known for his iconic role as Damien in Mean Girls. I should have wore the blue hoodie and the glasses, but what are you gonna do? We're excited to have him on the show to talk about his career, his Italian American roots, and much more. Please welcome Daniel Franzese. What's up?
Hey, how you doing over here? Yeah, I like to say it's friend's AC. It's like I don't have my own air condition. I got to use my friend's AC. You
Franzese.
know? Yeah.
I like
I
that.
always I have a friend with the same last name and he goes by Francesi. I don't know, people say I don't know, it's
I
weird.
got, I got relatives that say friend's ace. Everybody wants to do something different. I went the route that I was taught in kindergarten, and I'm gonna go stick with that.
Love it.
That's
Uh,
awesome.
but Daniel, man, just want to say, dude, I remember you're posting your video, Shit Italian Moms Say, like over 10 years ago now, man. So just wanted to thank you. I remember it did really well on the page. I mean, I know it's viral on YouTube and I know it went viral on Facebook, but it just reminds me of like the early days of Facebook when pages were taking off and stuff. So just thanks for letting us post that. And it brings back a good memory, you know?
I've posted much of your stuff too. I absolutely love to see the representation out there and like art specific type of brand of humor and culture. It's really awesome too. So I throw that right back at you. I throw a meatball right back in your face.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. But my question is on Should Italian Moms Say, like, what's the key to nailing an Italian mom impersonation? Because your videos are extremely viral when you do it.
It's 40 something years of torture, basically. Like and then falling in love with your captor. I don't know. My mother, honestly, like it's funny. She's still with us. My mom doing great. But I say to her, when you die, like you're still gonna be with. You're gonna haunt me. The other day, I was like, touring, doing stand up and stuff, and I had like a lotion or whatever that opened up in my bag and went all over everything. And as I'm opening up the bag, I'm talking to myself like my mother, like I told you to put it inside a Ziploc, and if you wrap it in tinfoil, you wouldn't have this problem. If you listen to me in the first place. And I'm just like, it's so crazy. I could hear what she's saying. And then she's like, no, 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 put the wet wipe first on the lotion on the in. Like, I'm like, I have her with me at all times, like to guide me through everything. And I'm so grateful for that. And I like to celebrate all those moms. I mean, we get a lot of, as Italian Americans, we get a lot of the mafia content, which we all love and all of that's all great and everything like that. But, it's rare that the women get celebrated like that way. So,
Yeah.
um, I, I actually think when I do the Italian mom character, I kind of feel like doubly because I'm also gay and I'm a gay son who loves his Italian mother playing. So I'm doing like it's in a way it's queer representation, but it's representing those ladies too. It's like I absolutely feel honored that I found some kind of like uh way to reflect my light onto an audience that gets it.
Yeah, no, that's true. You're right. It is good to bring, that's what we're about for sure, like bringing family into the limelight a little bit more than just a standard like mafia and stuff like that. So definitely commends on that for sure. But I guess like because the video was so relatable, I mean, it's got millions and millions of views. If you had to break down like what Italian moms do, I guess, like what are some of the common themes maybe, or when you're doing the character that you draw upon? I know it's probably second nature at this point, but if you had to pick a few, what are you thinking?
I'm gonna say off the top of my head that um you could read every expression on their face.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're in their family and you know the signs. It's like when you see you know, one of the Irwins out there in the outback looking at a weird bird and they're like, this, bird. Like I know exactly what the Italian lady's gonna do. Like I know how the eyebrow raise. I know if God forbid we see her bite a knuckle, we're in trouble. Like, and so it'll be so subtle. She'll be like, uh-huh, and then give you like a little tooth to the knuckle, and you're like, my ass is fucking grass. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and and I think that's what's so great about it. It's the subtle little things. My mother could say sentences and paragraphs to me from across a room, and it's just that whole that whole thing. I remember one time I saw, my mom, all she would have to do is like, I'd be talking about something and she'd step on my foot lightly and I'd be like, oh, I'm fucked. I'm like, I've got to keep my mouth shut. Like, and I watch other people
Yeah.
be like, why are you stepping on my foot? And like blow the cover and not be cool. And
Yeah.
you know, they're the first ones to really teach us street smarts, our parents, like give us those subtle cues and stuff. And it's part of our culture to have that kind of ability. So I think it's that too. It's that cunningness of them knowing where they're gonna go, you know, and also why are they all psychic? Why do they all know exactly what's gonna happen? Like they're like, don't slip, and then you know who like there's someone slipping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you they were gonna slip. Like even my grandfather told me, well, yeah, he told my aunt one time, he was like, don't leave the strap outside the suitcase when you put it on the conveyor belt. It's gonna tear the whole suitcase open. And she's like, the whole suitcase is gonna tear open. Like,
Yeah, Daniel. But God forbid they do that and we give them shit. Oh, but for them it's fine though. When they do something bad, you can't say nothing. But when we do something, all hell breaks loose.
because they're always right, Adam. Like, they said, you know, when the bag came down the conveyor belt, it was all ripped up and in saran wrap because she didn't put the belt in like he said. What are the odds?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then they let you know about it too.
yeah,
Yeah.
unbelievable. And you know what? It's really nice that you have such a close relationship with your mom. You've mentioned that she's a big supporter of yours, and family in general. Obviously, it's such a big part of Italian American culture and Italian culture in general. But we're also known for being brutally honest. And obviously, you're a comedian. So have there ever been times where you've tested your comedy routines on your family and they were just a little bit too honest with you, and it was a little hard to
Yes.
take?
As my mother likes to say, I'm sorry. I tell it like it is. I don't sugarcoat cocky. That's
Yeah.
it. I'm giving it to you like it is.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know, my brother was a little sensitive because my brother had, I tell this joke about us being, so I say, like, all right, look, I'm like, my grandparents were Italians, my parents were Italian Americans, but we're something different. I'm like, you know, did you ever see the movie Goodfellas? And I'm
Of
like, so
course.
when of course, right? Yeah, we love Goodfellas, good Italian movie. But when Goodfellas came out in Asia, they didn't have a name for Goodfella or Guido or gangster, so they just called it the Macaroni Rascals.
Like, is that a real thing?
That's a real thing. And then when Jersey Shore came out, it was the fabulous life of the New Jersey Macaroni Rascals. And I have never self-identified as something more. Like before Fat and Gay, I'm a macaroni rascal. Like I'm not quite a mafia guy and I'm not quite Snooki, but I'm on that spectrum. Like, you know, I'm
Oh,
somewhere between
Yeah, yeah.
those two, like somewhere in there, you know? So I said, I'll give you an example of a macaroni rascal trait. My brother has 100% Italian tattooed in Old English on his back. My niece's name is Italina, but he's never been to Italy and he doesn't speak Italian. I'm like, macaroni rascal, you know, like, like, and
oh,
my brother
Oh,
got mad. He was like, what do you mean I'm not, I have it. So we did the 23 and Me, you know, and we're all Italian. Our whole family's from Italy. But still, I had some Chinese and Middle Eastern in my chart, and my brother had 100% Italian, and he's like, "Now you can't say anything about my tattoo."
oh.
oh
It's
man.
like so
We
funny.
get so defensive us Italians. It's so true. We really do. You
Yeah,
say
you
one
could.
thing about something, it's like, hey, what are you talking about? I know this, I know that.
Yeah, or you
Oh,
if
I
you have
know.
1 or 2% more, you'll never hear the end of it either. So I'm sure I could totally picture that, man.
And why
But
is nobody ever racist against us either? It's like, you know, it's so weird. Like we love it. We just want to be invited to the party. Like I feel like we're like Mexicans. Like Mexicans love Speedy Gonzalez. They love Speedy. We love Mario. We're like more. Give us more of that shit.
yeah,
I know.
We just want to go to the party.
It's the people that are not Italian that feel like, oh, we can't do that. And it's like us Italians, we go, no, no, we want more of it. We're not afraid, we want it.
It's wild. I was driving in Fort Lauderdale and I saw this thing and it said Vincenzo's Wild Italian Ices and his eyes were crazy and he had crazy hair. I'm like, you would never do that with a Chinese food restaurant or with like or Indian restaurant. You would just never, you never get away with it. But us, they give us crazy hair looking like Doc Brown gooning. I
yeah.
was like, no way.
Great Scott.
I feel like everyone's so used to just like busting balls that we don't let too much offend us anymore. You know what I mean?
I'd rather be that way. I like
Yeah.
actually love that about it, you know?
Yeah, you gotta have thick skin. Like growing up, if you didn't have thick skin, like you would you wouldn't last, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's part of it for sure.
I
Um,
think people who break balls are more loyal.
yeah,
Mhm.
oh, 1,000%. 1,000%.
You know, out here in LA, they'll stab you in the back. Like you're worse. Someone who hates you will be like, "Have your birthday party at my house." Like, yeah, it'll be so great. You know,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Oh no!" And then you have your birthday party. And they're like, "Look at her. She's a bit." Like, you know, it's like you can't. In New York, like the Italians, all New Yorkers really, but the Italians especially, like it's like we stab you in the front. We're like, "Hey, I
Yeah.
fucking hate your guts, but we got to do this shit. So let's get some work done." And we probably like each other by the end of it.
Yeah,
There was a
Goodfellas.
movie like what was it?
Like
I think it was in Ted 2. I'm not sure if Daniel, have you seen Ted 2?
Tattoo?
No, it's Ted Part 2.
No, I know. Just kidding. Yeah,
Oh, Tattoo. It's like what from Fantasy Island.
yeah.
Ted,
The plane. You
yeah,
mean the
they
plane?
playing, boss. No, there was a scene where in the beginning, again, I'm not even sure if they were Italian or not, but it just seemed like such an Italian thing where Ted was getting mad at his wife there, or Tammy Lynn, whatever, and then the neighbors from across the outside of the hotel, the apartment, was like, "Yo, shut the fuck up!" It's like, "Why don't you shut the fuck up? I'll come down, beat you." And at the end of it, it's like the old ladies getting mad, and they're like, "I'm sorry, man. Yeah, she's worse than us. All right, we're cool." It's like they're all like chill about it. So
I mean, yeah. People. No one cares. We always say I'm not. I'm not yelling. I'm Italian.
Yeah.
we
Yeah,
just
true.
talk loud.
We got the best phrases. You're introducing me some new ones too, though, today. I love it. I'm gonna have to use some of these, man. Um, but another question. So you were born in New York, right, and moved to Florida. Tell me a little bit more about like the culture shock you experienced and the differences in culture since we're on the subject.
I actually, my culture was a lot different. I mean, maybe it's similar to a lot of immigrant families, but when my great grandfather moved to the block in Brooklyn, um, and he started to get a house, they had a petition on the block to get him off the block. They said they didn't want a greasy Italian like him on the block. And when he heard about this, he had 13 kids. So when he heard about, and he had this huge table that all the boys made, what he made with his hands. He sat them all at the table and had like a family meeting. He said, "Okay, everybody stay inside." And he went outside on the stoop on like a 5:30, like sunset time. Everybody's out, and he goes, "Listen to me right now, you son of a bitch. One day I'm gonna own the whole block." And all of those kids grew up and bought a house on that block. It
Wow.
was insane. So the whole block was my family. And if they
Wow.
weren't family, they were like adopted family. Like, there was besides the DeCarlos that were all on that block, there was the Shiraldis and the this and the that, and the different other neighbors who became part of our families. We had big block parties where everybody's related. It was so fun. Not a normal place to grow up. So I have a skewed vision of my childhood. My childhood was that's why I'm an entertainer, because when I would learn like a song or a joke or whatever, I would do what I affectionately call the coffee table circuit. I would go from Aunt Nina and Uncle Joe, I go to Uncle Mikey's coffee table, Uncle Giuseppe's coffee table, Aunt Roro, across to Aunt Rosie and Uncle Dominic, like the Schiraldi. I go to everybody's coffee table and do my thing. And I realized that I can make people happy, make people like me, get out of trouble, get attention. I got addicted to the attention. I became a entertainer that way. But then as the kids got older, everybody was in and out of each other's houses all the time. They wanted their own life. They all migrated, and they were allowed to go one of the three places they let you go when you leave Brooklyn, which is Jersey, Staten Island, or Florida.
The big three.
The
So
big three. Yeah,
so
so everyone moved to Florida. My grandparents moved there, and then my parents followed soon after. And then I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, which was Diet Brooklyn. It was my parents surrounded themselves with other transplanted Italians and Jews from Brooklyn and Queens and whatever. Any like transplanted New Yorker they could find. They were like, "Yo, get over here," And then, so I grew up still in that environment. We moved the year my sister was born, and my sister completely has a New York accent and never lived in New York.
Wow.
it's crazy how that works. I know a couple people like that, that
Yeah.
yeah, okay. Another because one of my next questions was how do you hold on to your roots, in Florida? But that makes sense. You just always grew up around Italians.
If I talk to my family or I'm around you guys, like it just comes out, like it becomes a part of who you are. You know what I mean? There is a level of code switching that happens as an Italian person, as a gay person. I experienced it as a white person, a white person who grew up with any ethnicity, and then you're either in a area where it's completely white, or you're in an area where with that whatever ethnicity you grew up near.
Yeah,
You change and you morph, but you never lose it. It always
yeah.
becomes like a part of who you are. You know what I mean? Like, and I remember this is a funny story. I was in 12th grade AP Honors English, and the teacher was giving out the vocabulary words, and she's like, "We're gonna skip this word. I don't even know why it's here. Everyone knows what a colander is." And I'm like, "What's a
Oh my.
colander?"
I don't even. Yeah,
And
I know. Yeah.
I'm like, "What the hell's a colander?" And she's like, "You don't know what a colander is?" And everyone's like, "What do you mean?" And I'm like, "Tell me what it is." And nobody could give me an answer. They're like, you like put water in and then a vegetable, and I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? And they were like, oh, I'm like a strainer. Like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, oh, a sculabasta. I'm like,
Thank you.
oh
Yeah,
my
school of
god,
pasta.
like,
Yeah.
And how did I not know that was an Italian word? I literally thought it was like can opener. Like,
Yeah.
like, and there was just certain things that we just in our house that was that thing, and became that, like, how did nobody else say coolie or cocky or whatever? Like, it was like we were like, all of our idiosyncratic dialogue came from that region of Brooklyn, and then we met other people who also had it, and I felt like I was crazy in the world. And then when I moved back to New York as an adult, I was like, oh my God, I'm friggin' normal. Like, this is where I belong. It was like I was totally in the wrong environment. They took me out of my habitat and brought me to these palm trees. Um, and I just absorbed New York so much. But now I love going back to Florida again and now appreciating it for what it is out of the lens of, like, teen angst, and looking at it as an adult. I love the paradise that it is. I love the culture that is there. There's my family, and they're now making their own little compound. My brother and sister live across the street from each other, literally. And my cousin Danielle from the block in Brooklyn now moved on the same floor as my mom of her condo. So it's like they're already starting to bubble up over there. They're begging me to buy something near them. And I'm like, you guys could be your Italian planet. I'll be the little satellite 40 minutes away in a jacuzzi. I don't need you guys, that close.
Yeah.
It's also it's funny you bring up about like the scuola pasta thing, and I want the audience, when they watch this after, I want to see if they can get this. Daniel, what do you call in America they call it broccoli rabe. What do you actually call it though? What's the right word?
Like locrab.
No, Mike, what do you call it?
We just call it broccoli rabe. What do you call it? Or
Yeah,
what
like
did you
broccoli
say
rabe.
it?
It's rapini.
Oh, rapini. Yeah, yeah, true.
Rapini. What's funny? I was watching a movie. They're like, "Oh yeah, I get the broccoli rabe." I'm like, "What the hell's broccoli
Yeah, but
rabe?" And I
we
was
have a
thinking,
different name for eggplant too. Like in like Europe, they call it something different too. I forget what the name of it is. It's like
what is
not
it?
not
Cucuzza?
eggplant, zucchini. Zucchini.
Yeah, cucuzza, right?
Oh,
Is that what it is?
so yeah.
Yeah, but that's in Italian. But just in general, they call it something different. And I think it's a different name. Where grappini is the same, but we're using that here. I think it's just like that.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I thought it was just. I thought, like, I don't know why. I always got confused with
I don't know.
Yeah.
I know how to eat it.
Yeah,
It's
that's what
literally my favorite. That's literally my favorite. I'll eat it up.
Oh my
yeah, I
God.
didn't even know. I thought rapini and broccoli rabe were different. That's probably probably they
I
make
thought they
it
were the same
again.
thing. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe
They
I'm just a shit
probably are.
Italian.
No, they
I'm
probably
just a
are, but
terrible
probably just the way
Italian.
I'm used to it. Maybe, but maybe that's just me.
All I know is whatever it says on the shopping list, come home with that,
Yeah.
or
Oh
you're
yeah.
dead. Yeah.
Yeah, true. What was I going to ask them? I lost my train of thought. Sorry, Adam.
Oh
Um,
no. Yeah.
no, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, even like some other, on the topic of food, then actually, I guess for family wise, I'm guessing your mom was a good cook, your grandparents were good cooks. Did you also get to in a little bit inherit that, what's it called, the skill for cooking? Is that in your blood now?
I mean, I don't want to sit in there all day and like make a sauce for like 10 hours. Like I don't, I mean, I would love someone to do that for me. I don't understand it. Like I live by myself, so can you imagine me just sitting making a Sunday sauce by myself? Like that's just never gonna happen. Like but I would like totally hang out when I'm with family and help and be a part of it and cook and stuff like that. And I can prepare a meal or two. I'm not like crazy, like, I'm not like helpless in there. But I'm not, because I travel so much. Everything I eat now is kind of on the road, so I don't really get an opportunity to do it as much as I'd like to. But
Oh,
in the
especially with the
holidays,
comedy stuff. Yeah, the comedy,
yeah,
your
but in the
comedy thing,
holidays, I'm
travel.
helping for sure. Yeah.
You
Okay,
know, I grew
interesting.
up spoiled. My mom just cooked everything, so I never learned. I always just was on the receiving end, but I feel you.
There's a
And
lot of major things like that I helped even prep for that I never like I remember like always doing this for her meatballs and mixing all the meat up and everything, but never remembering what the ingredients were. Like I should have did the measurements, but
yeah, I
all the
mean,
times I did it, I could have learned, but I was busy doing some other shit like Tetris.
yeah, and it's hard too because they don't really measure things out. They're just sprinkling stuff in, and they just go
And it
based on
comes out
taste.
perfect every time. It comes
So
out perfect every time.
My grandmother, this is a horrible thing, but my grandmother used to leave one item off of the recipe when she would give you her recipe, so no one would get it right.
Are you serious? You know
that's
what they call
Yeah,
that, right, Daniel? What they call that? She's furba.
what does that mean?
It
A
means like she's
bitch?
like, no, 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 never. I would never do it to your nonna. Are you kidding me?
No, but she was a little bit. That's shady.
if food was like kind of like you're being a little bit like you're they're not sneaky, but you're being I don't know how to say it. It just sounds
Yeah,
right
she's
when I
fuba. I believe it.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what it is basically. Like it's like, oh, you're being a little sneaky, you're not
Yeah,
telling me the whole thing.
she's a
You're a
little.
little
She's definitely a little sneaky. I was like, "What are you doing?" She would like my aunt Rosie would be like, "How'd you do that?" And she'd like do it like this and like that and like that, and then be like, "Oh, I forgot the salt, I guess."
yeah.
Yeah, but
Oh my
I remember my question because we were kind of talking about, just different Italian words and people not understanding. I want to get your take because I feel like that's almost being like becoming more popular in media now. I was actually watching what's that new Netflix show? I think it came out literally Friday or something, 4 seasons. And I feel like the guy's Italian in it and he's throwing out some Italian words and stuff. Like, do you think it's starting to be a little bit more popularized to get Italians in film and movies? And kind of what's your take on the representation of Italian Americans in media right now?
I noticed around like the like around 2008 9 that the word agita started to appear a lot and stuff. Even in places where people were saying it wrong, they were not even saying the word right, but you could tell it was in the script.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I was like, well, like I was like, it's showing up at least, And
Yeah.
people be like, oh, you're giving me agita or something, and I'm like, you know, but at least it was there, And I noticed recently people started saying coolie a little bit, which I thought was kind of funny to notice that that word was coming out. Just little things that maybe you're like, from that area, like the whole point of Shit Italian Moms Say was to say the things that might get lost.
Yeah.
Like when the boomers leave us, we might lose some of those things. Like I don't know if people in Brooklyn are still calling a fire hydrant a Johnny Pump, but
Yeah.
it's like we got to preserve it somehow. And
Yeah.
honestly, tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 47,
I
right? And
saw on your
so
Instagram you posted about it, yeah.
I'll be 40. So I was born in 1978, right? So I have memories from like the very early 80s in Brooklyn, and I remember a scissor man that came around the neighborhood and sharpened scissors. And I remember like, some of the real old timers that came from Italy were still there at that time.
Mhm.
And I remember what that was like. And I want to preserve it because the part of Brooklyn I'm from, I mean, it all happens to everybody. It's ebb and flow, but we lost a lot of Little Italy went away and got like overcame by Chinatown. And then in Brooklyn, the it's almost like the Twilight Zone that the same candy store and the same this and the same everything that used to be there that I went to when I was a kid, and now some of it's torn down. But in earlier years when I started going back and noticing this, like the movie theater, even I saw my first movie theater in was like a church now, and like everything was like being overcome, and everything was like Russian signs and Chinese signs where there used to be Italian signs. And, now it was their turn to be the immigrants that moved into that area.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to witness both ends of that and a time without social media and pictures and then now a time with that and how that shift happened.
Yeah.
It's not lost on me. I grew up in an extremely Italian way that I don't know happens anymore in America. And I want to share that experience as a macaroni rascal because it's a different lens. We've seen the experience, like the immigrant experience a little bit, and although we could use many more stories about that,
Yeah.
I still think like it's interesting that my perspective exists, that my dad became American when he was 6, and what does that mean? Like, and like, like like, and to grow up and, I hate checking the white box when I check white. I always feel like a little bit like, I'm like, and one of the names I've been toying around for my special is Olives Matter.
All this matter.
That's smart too.
It is, yeah.
I
Actually,
gotta sit down with you and just we think of
I
t-shirt designs for an hour or something.
you're gonna steal all my merch. You're gonna steal all my
We'll
act.
give you some royalties.
Yeah,
I need
right.
to
Do
hire
I
you
even
for
do, I- do
something,
I even
man.
do I even do I pass for olive or no? I think I'm like the whitest person here right now, I think. I don't think I pass for
Well,
olive.
it's just even it doesn't have to necessarily be skin tone, although all the other categories are written by skin tone. But I think it's like also like olive Mediterranean is to me like it may not be a race, but it is like a complexion anyway. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
and
yeah.
it is a cultural reference point to let you know what region they come from. I mean, I took sausage and peppers to like middle school lunch and got made fun of. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a cultural experience.
Yeah.
I didn't know what a colander was. I have things as a macaroni rascal that affected me from being an immigrant,
Yeah. No, 100%. Beautifully said, all of it too. I think about that like all the time. Just, when I'm around my uncles or some of like the buddies from the neighborhood that are, you know what I mean, from Chicago, like in the enclaves and stuff like that. I always think like they don't make people like this anymore, man. You know what I mean? And part of that kind of what motivates me sometimes. I've been doing a little bit more content. If we're going to like, festivals in the city and stuff, like we'll start to try to get more original content because I want to document it. I feel like when I'm older, I want to look back and be like, remember when my Uncle Pete would always say this and stuff? It was like such an old school like mentality that they have.
That's part of it. So like even the reiterations of Shit Italian Moms Say, I have the stage play, which I hope you get to see sometime. It's great. And then I have Antoinette Nails Life, the series I did for Instagram where it's like her in the nail shop. I make sure that in every one of those sketches, she's saying something that is a Shit Italian Moms Say type line. It's
Yeah.
something that has to do, I don't want to make a big to-do out of it. It's just one of those lines that like come from that region, whatever it is, beep papo this and that, like just like whatever it is that she's like lock the top lock. That's universal, but there's some things that aren't. That like when you're looking to help your mom and she wants you just to chop the garlic, which is the worst job because your fingers are gonna smell like garlic and you don't
Yeah.
want to
Yeah.
do it and it's so small and everything else. You got to use that tiny friggin' knife and all this other shit and like there's a million. Come on, give me something better to do. I'm dressed for dinner, and you want me to chop garlic now, and she don't want to do it either.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that that's like the scenario. And I think you have to have lived that to maybe really get it. But it's surprising how so many people experience stuff like that. I've had so many other people be like, "I'm German, I'm Chinese, I'm Mexican, I'm
Yeah.
Jewish, I still, my mom still acts like that. Maybe we all act like that, you know?"
Yeah.
And there is an element of like, okay, maybe they don't say coolie or whatever, or they do, but like we're all the same, but but at the same time honoring the little tiny things that make us different. And
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's what makes that whole thing special to me and why I'll never be done with that character. I'm always gonna be trying to think of something new or something to do with her or bigger or whatever because it's like it's so fun to me. I don't even feel like work when I'm doing that. And out of all of my work, out of anything I've done in my entire career, I could watch Shit Italian Mom Say content and crack up because I feel like it's a prank on my mom above all of all things. Like
Yeah.
I got you, you know what I mean? Like like it doesn't feel like work or like anything or art. It feels like I got you, like And my mother loves it. She was on the beach in Fort Lauderdale and she was yelling to my sister and she's like, Diana, bring the towel over here. We gotta go. And two people come up to her and they're like, we don't want to offend you or anything, but we just want to tell you, have you ever seen Shit Italian Mom Say? You remind us of the lady from that video. And she was like, that's my son. Like they recognized her
Oh,
from my impression.
No way.
are you serious?
Oh my
Absolutely.
God.
Oh my God.
Is she
Yeah,
in
but
And
any
still,
videos or anything?
what's that?
Is she in any videos or anything?
Yes, actually,
I gotta
on
see that.
World of Wonder, which produces RuPaul's Drag Race, they have a thing called Wow Presents. It's on YouTube and they have their own network. And me and my mom did a show in there, Daniel Franzese and his Italian mom, and she's on the show. And it's her giving advice and talking about people and what she thinks about Pokemon and Grinder and weed and all this other stuff. And it's hysterical. And I want to do more content with her. She recently, had with COVID, and she got COVID pretty bad, and she had to have double hip replacements, but she's back on her feet and she's better than ever. And so
good.
we're looking to do something new with her real soon. She's very funny and a personality in her own right. She also played my mom on HBO's Looking on the movie. When my character gets married, he won't get married until he FaceTimes his mom, and they flew her in and had her be the mom in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my, that's
she's even
awesome.
She's even get some little HBO residuals there.
Well, I'm sure she's proud, man, of all like the things you're doing, and like I said, like the content you do is hilarious, and it feels natural and personal, and you know what's even funny? Even like in Mean Girls, for example, like for me, you stole the show in that movie. I just gotta be honest, and I think I'm not the only one to think that. You were just so funny. The quotes in it, it's
You
such a
should really be the
funny.
head of a studio.
I really should, eh?
Yeah,
I
I
mean, I
think
wish
so
I would
too.
have, then I would have a lot more money than I do right now. What are you gonna do? But it's celebrated 20 years last year, and I was 5 years old when the movie came out, so I didn't see
Actually,
it.
it celebrated 21 years 2 weeks ago.
Well, now, yeah, but last year was 20 years, a big
Yeah.
milestone. Yeah, it was crazy, and that's one of my favorite movies of all time. But like looking back, what did that film mean to you? Like, just because it's again, it's such a big cultural phenomenon. It's been around for so many years now. People talk about it to this day.
I mean, as an actor and you hope to do one thing, something that's like really big. Like, you look at like some of the actors from Wizard of Oz or something like that, and you're like, wow, they got in that like really awesome, huge thing, and they made all these other things, but then at least they got that one that's going to be a magnet on a fridge 100 years after they die. And it feels weird so young to have accomplished that little checkbox. Like I know that I'll be gone 1,000 years and Mean Girls will exist and be replayed in theaters and be a cartoon or be dolls or end up being. Last year alone, I was a Funko Pop and a Hallmark ornament and a little golden book. And who knows what in my lifetime, the blessings that'll come out of something like that. You could only dream as an actor to have something like that. Um, but I say in the same breath that Mean Girls came out a few years before streaming was invented and we never got residuals. And, so it's like,
Oh,
I should be buying a house a year off that movie. And there's that element of it too. It's hard sometimes to like get really excited about it like, every day, but it brings much people so much joy. And it made a lot of representation possible for a lot of queer people who felt different. Like the character of Damien was unlike anything that was really on screen before. There was never really like a lead who wasn't like picked on. Like it's not mentioned one time in the script that he's fat, and it's never mentioned that he's gay except for in the burn book as a negative thing,
yeah.
that they're trying to like, get him. So it's like he kind of was able to make it through censors in places like Africa and Dubai and places where like um queer imagery and queer characters are censored. And he was able to make it through because he never said he was gay, never had a kiss, never had a boyfriend. And a lot of queer people write me and say that they had hope that they could have lives outside of some of these communities because that movie was the first movie ever to let a gay person through. And that's really impactful to me. It's not lost on me. I think it's really incredible that a comedy, something that we were having fun making and doing, ended up being have such social impact attached to it. And so I lean into it. I always try to like, greet the fans with love. And to me, it's a blessing.
Yeah, and you at that time, I read that you didn't come out publicly yet, right? So when you played that character, Damien, did it actually help you feel more comfortable with who you are and like it was like that character's almost like a voice for others?
Even though that I was in the closet at the time and I was trying not to play, I didn't want to play gay for gay's sake or fat for fat's sake. That's what I kept telling my agents. And so anything that came through that was like he was like gay and bitchy or like whatever, or threw a boa on and more, like gay characters then were what we might call now non-binary, but made fun of in scripts. None of it fit. It didn't represent gay. It didn't represent non-binary. It was impolite, all those things. But this character came around and it was like none of those things. It was like he's just comfortable in his skin and he's able to breathe. And I was like, if I'm gonna play a gay character, which I'm gonna have to at some point, this would be a great one. And it's this incredible movie with the cast of SNL, which I grew up on SNL like we all did, but I mean, really, like it was like I fucking ate ate it, slept it, breathed it. I knew every character's name, like and remember every host and their sketches. It was like I was obsessed with it. And then to get that opportunity to do that, it was such an aha moment from God. And I was like, okay, I'm just gonna if I don't do this, somebody else could do this and fuck this up. Somebody else could do this and make him really flamboyant or not on the money or and ruin this incredible moment in like cinematic I saw that. I did have the foresight to be like, this pushes the envelope. And
Mhm.
so I jumped at it. I jumped at it scared. And it did attack me after the movie. Like, I met like a gay glass ceiling that I still deal with a lot of the times where people don't think I could play straight anymore. I was up for Turtle and Entourage. I was testing for that, and I was like up
No
for all these
way.
yeah, and these Sopranos roles all the times, like getting called in, and that was like my era for that kind of stuff. I was on a show called Queen Supreme where I played like an Italian kid, Oliver, uh, with Oliver Platt, and Vincent Pastore played my dad, and
Oh
like,
wow, legend, yeah.
but it was like. it got canceled, but like my point is those were the kind of roles that I was like going out for, and then when Mean Girls happened, nothing. They were like, no, not anymore. They're like, we think Daniel's a great actor, but we need a man's man, or we need it to be really Italian. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm not really Italian? Like, it didn't make sense. And that's why I constantly try to put back into that. Like, I wrote Jersey Shore's like a freaking opera, rock opera, because I'm like, I sing, I'm funny, and I'm Italian. I want to do all three at once. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And then I was like, and then Should Italian Moms Say was like the representation, be the change you want to see in the world. I know it's so funny that it's a comedy thing, but I was like, I want to put something here that doesn't exist. We don't have a Shit Italian Mom Say, so I'll make it. All the other mom things were popping up and nobody was making it, and I was like, I'm gonna make it.
Yeah.
So I think that it came out of a need. I think if I would have gotten everything I wanted, maybe I wouldn't have done Shit Italian Mom Say, or maybe I wouldn't have done these things. You know what I mean? I did those things out of like a need to fill a void that I was not seeing artistically. So I think maybe that's why Mean Girls hit harder, because I was doing something that I was scared to do and we needed, and Shit Italian Mom Say went viral. We needed it, and nobody was knowing. I was realizing I was funny anymore because I had done I Spit on Your Grave, and they were like, "Oh, now he's like, playing a rapist in this movie, so now he's like a dark actor." Like,
Mm.
it's a very "what have you done for me lately" town, and the town's not run by creatives; it's run by money people. So
Yeah.
like, oh, he just did a horror movie, now he's a horror actor. Oh, he did a comedy, he's only a comedian, he can't do drama. Oh, he did a drama, he's not funny anymore.
Wow.
I know, but
Like
yeah.
you're constantly battling all these things to try to prove yourself all the time. I don't know, and no other profession, maybe sports, do you have to like prove yourself constantly? It's exhausting. Like it's like at this point in my career, I should, if I was anything else, I'd be a big engineer or like a big writer or like a big. But it's like because I'm an actor, I have to constantly prove myself. Um, that became a problem for me with the gay thing for a while, and I really feel like we're coming to a point where I don't know you guys that well, but like I'm even surprised you guys want me on the podcast. Like the Italian American Foundation, I was like, hey, I have Italian mom, I'll come do things for you guys and do benefits, and they were like, we're good. People were like, not it's a guy in drag, we're good. Like
Wow.
it just kind of missed the mark for a lot of people. I still feel like, well, and then when I did Mean Girls, I wasn't out of the closet, so Out Magazine and Advocate and all these gay publications were like, we're good, you're not gay. So the gay people weren't taking me, the straight people weren't taking me, the Italians weren't taking me. I was like an outsider for a
Yeah.
lot of the times. But I think that
Wow.
definitely informed a lot of my artistic struggle, which I think is the only way you can make art is by struggling.
Yeah, no, and to quickly mention what you said, we of course want John, man. I mean, like, it's not even just Mean Girls. Like I said, like the videos you post, it's. I think there's a lot of like again, like I relate to in many ways too with the family stuff about like again with the Shit Italian Moms Say like that. I live that, and so does Mike, right? So we see ourselves in you in a way, and many people do as well. And no, it's great that you get to share how you feel about these things because many people do relate to the same things as well, the struggles of being an actor, a comedian, and it's almost like a catch-22, right? It's like what you said, like you want to go for Italian things, and you do one thing that's not, and they go, okay, you're not Italian anymore, or you do a dark thing, and you want to do. It's like always you did this, but you did that or this or that. So I totally get what you mean. It is a struggle, you know.
I just did an incredible Italian play. I'm not gonna say what it was. It was because I did this really great Italian play, and then the movie gets made, and it went to a non-Italian the role, like for the movie. When
Wow.
I originally did the role as Italian, I see stuff like that happen all the time.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, well, what's the formula that makes it go like that? The only formula in Hollywood is money. So like that's why it's like as Italians or as any uh category or minority or whatever, like you have to support the stuff that is that's representing you.
Hmm.
So it's good that people are listening to this pod, and it's good that people are buying your merch and like checking out my videos and whatever. Like, just keep supporting like. That's why Italians are supporting Italians over here.
That's what it is, man. Absolutely. Well, for my last question, because like I said, because like, for me, like I said, Mean Girls is one of my favorite movies, and just one quick thing I want to ask you about because there's so many iconic lines you have. Obviously, even the iconic, beautiful talent show scene was amazing as well. But for that actually almost didn't make it in the movie. Is that correct?
Well, when I sang "Beautiful," uh, they weren't. Linda Perry, who from Four Non Blondes, who's also an amazing songwriter who wrote "Beautiful." She didn't want the movie to be used in anything because it was currently a single that was out, like just came out, like at the time, and
Mhm.
so she didn't want it to be used in any movies or anything in a comedy and be made fun of. And then when it was explained to her that my character was gay, she said okay. So
Oh,
at one
that's
point they
okay.
were gonna. So they gave me a list of songs that I could pick to perform if the song wasn't approved, and I was gonna do "One Moment in Time" by Whitney Houston if "Beautiful" didn't work out. But I really wanted to do "Beautiful" because I loved on the record when she says "Don't look at me" on the record, and I was like, oh, if I could say that, and then it was like such a funny joke that I was like, I don't want to lose that joke, and I asked Tina, I say, at this point, do you hear this part in the song? Can I say that to you? And then you like look back at the piano, and she was like, yeah.
Don't look
So
at
that
me.
was like something that I kind of like worked out with me and Tina made a bit out of that. And then so I didn't want to lose that bit. I'm somebody I love every bit I have. I want every little juicy bit. Like I eat everything on the plate, like no crumbs. Like I'm
You make
always
yeah,
like I
you make everything count. Even the you it should even go here or like even like oh my God, Dan DeVito, I love your work. Like it's still every line you have makes me laugh. Every
You
single
know,
one you.
I got cast in something. I can't remember what. Oh, I got cast in this short film once where my character didn't speak in the whole film, and the director said it was because of Shit Italian Moms Say because he could see me as an actor and that fill in the areas with no dialogue with like presence. Like there's thoughts happening there. Like you can see like when I take the great if you know Shit Italian Moms Say really well when I'm like, can we try one? We just want to try it. And then I look back at Donna and I'm like, we've got one over on the guy. He's gonna give me a piece of mozzarella. You know what I mean? Like and like and I got a free piece. That's how we do it. We're trying it. You're like we don't know what freaking mozzarella tastes like every week, you know? And and it was like to me it's like it's that extra moment. Like you could write in the script, she looks at Donna and makes a look and da 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 da, but unless you know it, you're not gonna get it, you know? And as an actor, no matter what character I play, that's the things I really try to do is I try to fill in those empty moments. Because it makes it feel alive and spontaneous to me. And that's the fun part. It's almost like when I work on it at first, the lines are like a coloring book, and then all that stuff is all the colors I get to put in the lines, you know? So it's
Mhm.
nice to have the ability to do that.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, well, Daniel, honestly, we appreciate you coming on today and talking about, yourself, your career, being Italian American and being proud of that. And we're big fans of yours and we're gonna continue staying in touch with you. And anytime you have something you want to promote, just let us know. And we'll be getting you that free merch ASAP. And yeah, thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Hope you had a good
Thanks,
time.
man. It was a blast. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. The next time I have another iteration of Antoinette, I'll make sure that you guys are the first to know.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you, man. Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Okay.
Take
Talk to you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.